Today we're going to be talking about our employee assistance program, which is a little bit of um, I would say a secret we shouldn't be keeping. We're doing our best to tell everyone about it, and we're glad that you're on here. But this EAP is a great fill-in benefit for your employees if you're in management, and if you're an employee, this is a great benefit for you to take advantage of if your organization is participating in the EAP through Together SC. We've been working with First Sun EAP for a couple of years now to bring this benefit to our members outside of our association health plan. A lot of health plans do include EAPs, but if you don't have a health plan that does, you can access this EAP through your membership at Together SC. So I will introduce Lucy Henry from First Sun EAP and let her take it away to tell you more about the program.
Thanks, Ben. Good morning, everybody. So glad that you have joined this morning and just really want to do a good overview. But because in true EAP fashion and true Lucy Henry fashion, I have to kind of start with just check in with everybody. Um, I am just a little background about me. I have been with First Sun working on 26 years, and eight coming up in April. So I kind of live, sleep, breathe EAP. But when we talk about EAP as an employee assistance program, a lot of people have their kind of preconceived notions of what an EAP is. And at First Sun, we're really trying to change those preconceived notions for folks to realize that EAP is really about a well-being benefit. It is, as we like to say, EAP stands for everyone at potential. And First Sun EAP is a South Carolina based business. We like to say we're headquartered in Columbia. Our headquarters really consist of an office that is storage space because we're 100% remote. But we are born and bred in South Carolina and really are about trying to, I'm sorry, I've got a dog that might be choking. I'm sorry, or something. Sorry. We are really about, helping the citizens, the employees of South Carolina be their best selves. So that's where we come to EAP from. And we really want to pride ourselves on our values of being responsive and caring and just accessible to everybody that tries to reach us. Now, we don't always 100% get that because we do work with providers and counselors that sometimes don't always respond the way we would respond. But we curate our provider network and we work closely with our partners. So that is a lot of who we are. And I know that for you, as folks in the nonprofit industry, that's our values align in so many ways, which is one of the reasons why I really want to see us working more closely together because your values are about serving the people of South Carolina, and that's what we are trying to do as well. So, as an overview, I just want you to be able to kind of see the program summary, and I really just want to answer questions and hear from you a little more about what you need and what your employees need. So, as I said, one of the first things is that we are accessible, and our accessibility is through our website as well as through our just 1-800 number. So hopefully you will have this flyer. If not, we'll make sure you get it out. These where it says request my benefit or call our intake team, those are actually live buttons that you can hit. So the request my benefit goes to a form where folks don't have to make a phone call. You can actually fill in what you're looking for. But if you wanted to call and talk to our intake team, we have a team of professionals who gather information and make the referral to the appropriate resource. And they are so knowledgeable as well as just compassionate and friendly. And then the other piece of this is that we have our well-being center, which I'm going to show you separately in just a minute. But let me just talk about the other aspects of the program. Again, your program, we're doing this through Together SC, so y'all are actually, as businesses, you're kind of coming together as one big benefit. All employees, as well as their household family members, have access to First Sun EAP. And they each have their own set of, as we say, mental health sessions. And the mental health sessions are, counseling with licensed counselors. So they're licensed in South Carolina as either psychologists, professional counselors, marriage and family therapists, or social workers. Or they are associate licensed, so they're working on getting their license and being supervised, but they do have a license. So that's where the providers come from. It can be either in person or virtually, and virtually can be either through video, telephonic, or we actually work with a program that does kind of text-based and chat-based messaging. So a lot of the younger folks really like to do that kind of counseling. Um, so that is where the life management, the mental health, but counseling is just one piece of that. The second piece of that is we are actually offering coaching. And coaching is with professional coaches that have a certification in coaching. And it's really kind of focused on positive psychology and cognitive behavioral coaching. So it's a little more than just life coaching, so to speak. So it's more kind of business coaching, but can be focused on life coaching and working with behaviors that might be problematic to individuals. Sometimes people want to feel more comfortable seeing a coach than a counselor, because they don't necessarily want to feel like they're working on the counseling end of things. But coaching is really about setting goals and moving forward. Counseling kind of looks backwards sometimes, but also is about kind of setting goals and moving forward. And then we also have spiritual care resources with certified board chaplains or board certified chaplains who are, not of a specific denomination or religion, but can really speak to just spiritual needs. So it's like a hospital chaplain. Again, that is virtual. So that's the mental health piece of this. The life management, and I'm sorry I didn't show that, and that is 3 sessions, again, per contract year, per employee family member. So the contract year actually will renew in January. So if folks say, okay, maybe I need to see a counselor, maybe I do it now, or maybe I wait till January. But that is those 3 sessions, again, per family member. So if you have a husband and wife that both need to be seen or want to be seen together, that would be that 6 sessions with the family members. That's including in there too. So sometimes we get family counseling. We say household family members because sometimes we have folks living within our household that have things that are going on that are impacting that employee. And again, we are focused on employees and the workplace as an overall benefit. So we want to help the workplace be its best by helping its employees. But helping employees means we're helping those extended folks that are living within their household that they're interacting with and could be impacting the way they do their jobs. So, like I said, that's the mental health sessions. And then we have what we call life management sessions. And we add 5 of these per contract year. And we think about life management as about being resources and referrals to services that we could probably go find on our own, but it would take a lot of time. So this is a kind of a one-stop shop to get what we need. Now, one of the things that we know is that in the workplace, financial issues are one of the biggest stressors. And you know this as nonprofits and what and how you were trying to help people. So we have financial coaches, we have financial advisors, we have just a number of financial resources. One of the things that we have actually just done this week is had a webinar on working with older adults and planning for long-term care and how to finance that. And that is an actual recording that can be found on our website. Um, so we do regular webinars. We also have access to attorneys for legal consultations, but then on our through our website there's access to legal forms that folks can actually go and do their own basic legal documents like wills or healthcare power of attorney or living wills, or looking for a bill of sale or a letter to a landlord. All those things are available to through that website. And then there's that, elder and adult, and looking at just kind of navigate caregiving, navigate what needs to happen with when an older adult can no longer live in their home. How to really understand, hospice or rehab or respite care, or even try to find, adult daycare because, knowing that that might be an option for folks, along with education for employees and family members, but also looking at children and college students and trying to navigate the road to getting to college. So there's education referrals, there's adoption referrals, um, things around after school care, summer camps, disability care, special needs education. And then there's also nutrition and women's health. And then, of course, we have the pet care. As you might be able to hear, I have two little ones beside me that are not getting along right now. I thought one was choking there for a minute. But yeah, we know that our four-leggeds can very often be our family members. So, and sometimes we need access to um, a walker or an in-home um, dog caregiver or even an obedience program. So trying to find those kinds of resources, this is one of the things that can help with that. And then, of course, we also have our well-being center. And this is a good overview of the Wellbeing Center, but I actually want to show it to you live. So I'm going to stop sharing this program and actually show you the Wellbeing Center because I think our Wellbeing Center is one of the best kept secrets of the EAP. And so this one of the things I just want folks to really know. So if you go to firstsuneap.com, hang on a second. You're going to go to firstsuneap.com and let me share this again. Let me find it where my share is. Zoom, share. All right, so when you go to firstsuneap.com, that is our website. You will see in the top right-hand corner, it says Wellbeing Center. You click on that, and the first thing one needs to do is register. So to register, you're going to put in the organization, and the organization is going to be Together SC instead of your individual organization. And if you start putting in just a TO, it should pop up. There you go, Together SC. But I'm going to actually go back and use my current login. But to register, you put in Together SC, you create a username and password, put in an email address, and then confirm that email address. And everybody in the family, in the household, needs to have their own login. And the reason for that is because what I'm going to show you is there are things that you might want to save. Um, no, let's see. I've got a username and password saved, so I'm going to find that and then get me signed in. Of course, I'm going to have technical issues. All right. So this is our well-being center. And the first thing you see in the well-being center is there is a featured theme every month. And that theme actually has a newsletter that goes along with it, but then there's a webinar and then other resources. So the theme for December is family dynamics. So just being able to connect as a family. And y'all might find some things as nonprofits that you want to pull for your own newsletters or things that you put out. And you're more than welcome to use these services, those kinds of things. So the family dynamics. Now, if you wanted to look at the webinar, it is on demand, but the month that it's there, you can actually ask questions and do those kinds of things. So this is the article on family ties, but along with that, there are just other articles and then the webinar. And then each person who views this can actually download a certificate of completion. With this as well, you can go to the tiles, and these tiles actually have my EAP actually prints out or gives you the exact kind of flyer that I've just shown you. But then there's these assessments that are so fun. And we feature an assessment every month. So one of the assessments this month is your personality top 5, but there are about 20 assessments. They take 3 to 5 minutes. But it's this thing like, what's your mental health profile? Is loneliness impacting your life? Has caring for others taken a toll on you? Just caregiving. Is your substance use harmful? How's your sleep? Um, I like this: procrastination, distraction, or ADHD. So again, they're fun titles, but they're really getting into, okay, what might be going on? And when you take the assessment, you're actually given resources, and it might say, you might want to talk to a counselor, or you might want to talk to a coach. So it gives you some recommendations for things to do with these assessments. So, and we do feature an assessment every month. And then these other tiles have other things just around our resources. So looking at our mental health resources, the legal resources is where you go to actually do the legal forms. So you can actually read these things and focus on looking at documents and those kind of things. So there are 2 options. One is that you take an online fillable form. I like to say it's like doing TurboTax. So you go and fill it out. It then gives you instructions, typically for like a will or a living will. You print it out and you have to get it notarized. Um, then there's also printable forms that actually you just kind of fill out on your own and you write in your information. So a lot of times I say, go get the printable form, fill it out, and then go back to the online fillable. So you've actually got a template to be able to do things. So that's where the legal forms are documented. And we do have information on how to exactly get to those forms. The financial resources, this talks a lot about just all the resources that are available. Now, we're not going to give loans, but it talks about budgeting and debt counseling and retirement planning. So gives resources But then there's also a lot of different calculators that folks can be able to get to. But you can also learn about financial coaching. Um, so that's where the financial comes in. Then you've also got resources around your day-to-day task, your education. And then below this, you get into our learning centers. And we have about 20 different learning centers that are kind of all encompassing of the things that we folks face on a regular basis. So, let's just say somebody is dealing with grief right now. Um, and with that grief, there are just a kind of a description, but then there's a training bite, there's webinars, there's articles, then there's other resources around like apps and books and podcasts and sites that folks can go to for those resources. Um, so with the featured learning centers, we also feature one of those, but any of these you can get to on a regular basis. So it's something that you can take and share with your employees to be able to say, hey, we're going to highlight this like First Sun is on a regular basis. So monthly. So, we're going to look at grief. We're going to look at resilience as as a team, as an employee team. And then, of course, you get to your calculators, just all sorts of resources that are here. Everything that you do, you can save. So it shows up under your history and your like courses and such. But what I haven't mentioned is that also under trainings, so I talked about the learning centers and the assessments, but then there's also trainings that are here where folks can go in and do online training for both personal and professional development. So it's worth going in and just looking at all the resources that are here um, around these kinds of things, looking at financial, looking at personal, I like to say, what from a professional development, let's look at, what does it mean to build a successful team and take that class? What is civility in the workplace? Um, so again, just something, a resource for you to go and look at and to see what is there. Then every month well, actually, here we have all of our monthly newsletters for the year. So right now, I think we still have 2026 is already up. So this is the newsletters for 2026. So you can kind of see what is there. So we have the employee and then the leadership or supervisor manager newsletters as well that are already there. But we've also got 25. So, like I said, the 25 December focus was on family dynamics. So here is the newsletter that you can actually share with your employees. And then the same for your 25 manager and supervisor or leadership newsletters.